Alright, so I have my, I believe, July bespoke post here called Cheers, and this one is all about beer. And I'm drinking a beer, thankfully, right now. Sadly, it's an IPA. More of a stout drinker, but I will go through this box thoroughly for you guys so you can know what is inside. So I will start off with just a few of the things that they included in here. What is nice always is when a bespoke post does something centered around a main thing, like beer, for example. If it's a theme box, they'll pile in as much stuff related to that they possibly can. Well, basically you're only paying $45. One thing you also need to understand is that they are not allowed to ship alcohol, so they're not going to send you any alcohol, which is sad. They've mentioned it multiple times, but that's not what the service is about. It's experiences. And everybody's gonna have a different experience with beer, so I get that point. But there's a lot of cool stuff in here, and I will go through it first. So I will talk about the centerpiece being the largest thing in the box, which is their Teku beer glasses and their Tulips. Very nice here. I actually have always wanted to get some nice Tulip glasses like this, so I was very glad when this box came out. This is the main reason I got it. But it is nice. It's got this straight lip here, a little bit curved out, but really good for smelling beer. This is the kind of stuff that you'll usually see people smelling and tasting beer at competitions at, something similar to this. So obviously very different than a pint glass, because a pint glass is going to give you a full pint of beer. This is more about 10 to 12 ounces. But still really cool, and they give you 2 glasses worth of this. So, of course, this is about basically bringing your beer experience to the next level. So one of the cool things that they have here is actually a bottle opener, but it also doubles as a sealer. So I understand the principle behind this. Is actually a German product here. So you pop your beer if for some reason you want to seal it, put it back in the fridge, whatever it may be, for a short period of time so it doesn't lose that carbonation. You can actually slide this over the top. It's got a lip here that it slides over, and then it's got this rubber that will help seal the bottle. Now, understand this isn't going to do anything crazy for you. It's more so going to be like a little wine stopper that you put in there to try and prevent stuff from getting in. But it's still going to be already oxidized, and the beer is going to start changing as soon as it touches oxygen. So just understand that. But for a temporary fix, this will be great. And of course it looks pretty cool. It's got a nice little handle on it, so it works at what it needs to pretty well. Next, they've got 4 felt coasters. So on the back here it says that in Bavaria they used to use actually felt coasters. Was originally what coasters were designed from, mainly because they absorbed some of the moisture, and then you could also put them on top of your beer to keep crap from getting into it when you're away from it. So they've recreated this. These are actually made in the US, but beer filts, which is beer felt, is basically the principle behind this. Kind of cool. They're definitely a conversation piece if you have these sitting around, because it's not very often that you see some felt coasters, and they're plain and unique, but I think they're actually pretty cool. Next, I'll actually talk about this is like one of the freebies that they throw in there, pistachios. I'm not a pistachio eater, so I will leave these for somebody else to eat, but pretty cool. Gilded nut, Snacko, and got about 2.25 ounces of pistachios to eat. Next is going to be 33 bottles of beer. I actually bought one of these that is also 33 cups of coffee. It's got some detailed stuff inside of there for beer tasting notes. This is actually really cool, especially if you decide to take a beer trip or something, and try this out. Everything's not going to be out for you, right there for you. Linger, dark fruit, citrus. I mean, it actually gives you some ways to describe the beer that you're tasting, and it has a little bit of an introduction here in the front on how to use it. So this is a good jumping off point for you if you want to start to know how to talk about beer. I still don't fully understand how to talk about beer properly, but some of those key descriptors in there that everybody's looking for when they're looking for a description of beer, this goes in thorough detail on that for you. So you can recreate this in your own little notebook, but still it's cool that they included this so you can start down that journey. And then lastly is the hop tasting kit, which they actually did in collaboration with Finback. So inside of here is a few things, which it's hop tasting kit, but just understand you should not taste hops. You can put them in your mouth, maybe try a little bit of it, but you do not want to like chomp on one and eat one, I promise, because you will vomit. And you've got Cascade, hops, Equinox, and Chinook. These are some of the most popular hops that you'll find in IPAs and pale ales, and all of them are described differently, alpha and betas. Basically that's the acidity that they get, but they also have the aroma as well as the flavors. So you've got piney for Chinook, and it doesn't say anything about Equinox, but it says citrus, tropical fruit as far as what it's on the nose, and then medium intensity and floral for Cascade. So really cool because these are, I believe, 1 ounce of hop. Just so you guys know, this is the exact stuff that homebrewers use because this is about the high quality hops that you're going to get as far as the pellet size. Obviously hops are not grown on the vine in pellets, but when they're used in beer, especially for homebrewers, they a lot of times use pellets because they last longer. They can be put in a sealed package like this and refrigerated, whereas the other typical hops, they're leafy and stuff like that. Those you're more going to want to use for dry hopping, but this is what's going to go into the boil, and the parts are going to break out, and it's going to go throughout the beer, and then you filter it out at the end. So lastly in here is your hop tasting guide. So it talks a lot about kind of the collaboration between the two, and then how to taste your beer. It talks about smell, taste, mouthfeel, overall, what you think of it. And then it talks about each of the hops specifically, which is really cool, mainly because it talks about the origin, and both of them are from Washington, Oregon, where most hops in the United States come from. But it's really cool because if you like the hop, they actually talk about beers that use that type of hop specifically, or you can do vice versa. I really like this beer, what type of hops that would go along with it. And what's cool is if you go to a small brewery, you can actually ask, hey, what type of hops did you use in this beer, and it'll give you a good idea of what you're about to taste based on the hop profile that they use. Of course, it's different on when they put it in the boil, how long they boiled it, and if they dry hop with that type of hop or how much they use. It's all a ratio, but it'll give you, like I said, a general idea. So anyways, overall, for $45, I won't say it's completely worth the $45, but I will say that there's a lot in here for a beer drinker to enjoy. I'm not an IPA guy. I know what all these hops taste like to me, but these will cost me about $5 a pop, $2 to $5 a pop, depending on where you get them from. So that's kind of cool that they give you 3 full ounces of that. These are actually intended to use to dry hop your own beer. So if you guys saw the infused box that I had earlier, you could actually use these hops with some type of beer. Just remember, you're going to lose probably that carbonation, and it might completely change the beer that you're about to do, because 1 ounce to about 12 ounces of beer is a pretty strong profile. But I'll leave it up to you guys to try it out for yourselves. So this is cheers, and hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thanks.